Hello everyone and welcome to another update video from the Pro Traders Lounge. My name is Eunice and today I will be going over the highly requested bullish Bitcoin Elliott Wave count that could potentially bring us all the way up to $150,000 in the near future. Let's jump straight into it. Alright, I will try to keep this as easy to follow as possible, of course, starting from the low of 2022 and then making our way up here on the Bitcoin chart. The easiest way to track Elliott Waves, to be honest, is just following the impulses. And as clearly you can see, this was an impulse. And then you have a nice corrective phase right after it, and then another impulse. So this is where I believe this is now wave 1, 2, wave 3 ended right here. There are a few reasons why I believe wave 3 ended there. The main reason is of course that we came up here to the perfect target of the 1618. So that's a main reason. The second reason of course is that we are now going very sideways right next to it. So this is where I believe now is that this is more likely going to be a wave 4. And then we are still, I could still be potentially having another push up here for the 5th wave in the near future. Now, the first target you want to do is for a wave 4 right here is of course the 0.236 and the 0.382. But in this case, I do believe the 0.236 is a nice one. We already tapped it once. Now coming back to it, it's still valid. We come back to it. If we start to lose this, it would rather look a little bit sharp to the downside and yeah, out of shape. We could still do something like this, it is all possible, but in terms of like visualization, I do like it where we just tap it or at least don't see price action going below it. So I will keep a tight invalidation for discount. I don't really want to see it go too low here. Wrong one, right here. So all good and well right now. We'll see how far she drops, because I do believe still that Bitcoin is going to drop before we are eventually going to make that push up higher. Now, as mentioned, the first targets you want to track for the 5th wave here. There's a nice target you can do is just a 1-to-1 of wave 1, from the low of wave 1 to the high of wave 1, and then to the low of the proposed wave 4. I'll just take this low for now. We don't know if that's going to be the low, but it's a nice one for now. And then we just reach for the 1-to-1. Cleaner. So, and then we come to prices of around $113,000. And then the next target, of course, as we mentioned, is around $150,000, which is from the low to the high of wave 3 and the proposed wave 4 here. And we can say the 5th one. Then we have targets of around $150,000. I have seen targets of the 0.618 being hit as a 5th wave before, so it is definitely on the table. And I would not be surprised if we do have, we do come to it and then reject there. It is a bit high, yes, it is high, but I would definitely just keep that in mind. That is a nice target for the 5th wave of an overall impulse: 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Of course, after this all plays out, this is far into the future, but then eventually you're still going to anticipate another corrective wave to the downside. We will see how this plays out. Firstly, because we are talking about 2025, start of 2025 maybe, where this potentially could be topping out. In terms of timing, it is a little difficult right now, but once we get a little bit more of subdivisions, we can definitely try and get those timings a little bit cleaner. Focusing here a little bit on that wave 4 here right now, because yeah, 5th wave, it is still far away. Wave 4, if we zoom in here a little bit, we can a little bit more, where this makes a little bit more sense. Now, there is one thing that I do like about this wave 4 here. That is a fractal of wave 2. If some people have maybe already seen it, but there's a very nice fractal from wave 2 that is playing out pretty nicely here. I'm talking about this fractal of 2023. This looks very similar to this price action right now. If I just pull the fractal, I can show it on the chart here. You pull a fractal just from the high to the, you can say maybe if we do get that pump, you see it looks very similar. Of course, history doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes, you know this. It's a very nice quote. But this has helped me a lot trading this very nicely here. I did short the highs. Now I'm waiting for a little bit of a long here. I am actually in a long from the lows, but I will get into that a bit later. And then waiting for a little bit more correction phase before getting that push down here. But yeah, I am anticipating another push down here for the lows, potentially, or around 60k is where I at least would be anticipating price to come back to. And then it's a little bit of a waiting game, the reaction base, what is going to happen here if we do come back here. Are we going to play out as the Fractal did before and going to see a push higher, or is it just going to be dwindling down? There's where we have the bearish scenario, of course, but that will be for the PTL members. So the Fractal is a very nice one. Let's zoom in here a little bit more, a little bit in depth. This one. Overall, this looks like a very nice corrective phase. I believe this is just a double tree at the start of a W. This looks like an expanding flat. Not the cleanest impulse here, but it is what it is. And now there's a few ways you can count this. In my opinion, from the high here, I believe this is a leading diagonal. It's a very choppy one. But if you just pull something like this, and you pull some lines here, it all starts to make more sense here. And then this is all part of 3 waves, so 3, 3, and then this is another 3, 3, and then is this gonna get another 3 down, or was this the 3 wave? Personally, I'm in between 2 targets here. I'm in 2 things here. I do think it's likely that this was the wave 3 here at the end, and then potentially we are now making our way up here for wave B or wave 2. As you could say, this is wave 1, wave 2, and then we're going to see that push down, wave 3, 4, 5. If this is going to be an impulse at the end, then of course this changes into an A, B, C kind of pattern. But yeah, that's all subdivisions wise. It doesn't really matter that much. It all depends on how you subdivide everything. It all depends on your perspective. So there's a few ways you can count this. Personally, I'd like this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for now. If we start to take the lows again, I will definitely look to move this wave 5 here, if we can still hold this area here, because this is somewhat of a last resort here in this area. We also have an important very low here, I believe, the very low of the range. So that's why I'm also looking for a long to take it a little bit higher, not to take it all the way up to the price action of the highs here, but somewhat of a dead cat bounce before getting that push down. This is also what happened in the Fractal, if I remember correctly. You just see here, you have a nice A, B, C kind of pattern before getting that push down. And yeah, fractals like this, they can help you get into a better visualization of what you can expect here. Something like this, and then a push down. In terms of targets, yeah, it's a little bit of a waiting game for this one. If it starts to move up, I will definitely wait and see how this starts to move up, if it does. For me, if it starts to move up like a V shape, I'm not really interested in the short. If we can get that kind of ABC pattern, maybe onto the 382, which sits around 66,600, and a liquidity grab here from wave 4, that would be an ideal short to take it down lower. And my targets are going to be around 60k. Yeah, the liquidity here at 60k would be a nice one, or even lower at these lows again. But yeah, the lower it goes in terms of like 60k and these lows, for me that's all still a nice buy area, as long as it can hold, I would say 65k lows here. If it starts to go lower and it starts to see price action below it, acceptance below it, it's like, nah, it's not really that great anymore for that potential long into the 5th wave, of course. But to wrap this up, I believe that price action is going to do something like this. I mean, that's what I would like to see. See another push down, maybe get the lower liquidity. It all depends on what happens here and subdivisions wise, and then making our way back up to the range high. If we come to the range high for the 3rd time, it's even more than the 3rd time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th time, I guess you could say, then I would definitely expect the break out of that. Keep in mind that 5th waves can always just swing failure the high here and then break down. Nobody says it has to go all the way to 113 or 150. But yeah, if you're looking at the structures of the previous sections here, they were quite powerful, I would say. So I would expect another powerful push. Also, the range now is quite long. I think a lot of people are getting bored. Looking at the volume-wise, you can zoom out here. This looks perfectly for a nice corrective pattern here. Very nice sideways, volume is going down. Give it a little bit more time here. Get it a lot smaller. And then, yeah, everybody's bored, and then the markets pushes back up. That's eventually what I would like to see. So let's see how this plays out. I'm very excited into the coming months. If you want to get into a more detailed count and more detailed targets, of course, you can always visit us at protraderslounge.com. You are always free to join. I mean, it's not free, but free to come and check us out if you want to, of course. We are also making some adjustments into the Discord group. We have now started doing our own separate channels here where you can find every one of us. You can follow these channels. You can get alerts on these channels. Of course, if you are following, for example, Trader R and you only want to see Trader R, you want to see, you're going to get alerts from Trader R. You can just activate that. Same as mine channel. You can see there's a few updates here. Looking for price to come down. If this code, and then we're already coming to our targets here. Yeah, this is also why I am currently in a long 63,500. Would like to take this a little bit higher, as I just mentioned, and we'll see how this plays out. So that's going to be a wrap up for the video for now. If you do have any questions, let me know into the comment section. I'm always happy to help you there. You can always find me on Twitter, of course, and yeah, hopefully see you on the next one. Have a good one, and leave a like, by the way. Thank you. Bye bye.